Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. There are some phrases I have learned lately that really inspire me. Remember several weeks ago when I talked about love squads, those groups we are a part of in our lives that can be igniters of such good, be it confidence, courage, kindness, resistance, love, always focused on the good. Or last week, I spoke to you about flipping the switch, which comes after being inspired to make a change in your lives that lasts. This week, I have three phrases that popped up. The first one I learned about in a book I am currently listening to entitled The Anxious Generation: How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. If you are a parent, the title can cause you alarm, but it is so worth the read, and it is vital for how we go forward with devices in the hands of little children. It also helps us understand the pervasive anxiety and depression in the generation growing up who had devices in their hands from toddlerhood. In one of the sections of the book, Haidt talks about stress wood, which is a specialized part of the wood developed in trees in response to stress, such as wind. This wood in the tree is strengthened by the brunt force of wind, which ultimately helps it to withstand stress, preventing it from growing in directions that would harm it. Haidt uses the term as a metaphor to introduce the necessity of building a sense of anti fragility in our kiddos. He goes on to say that the best piece of parenting advice that he and his wife received was to look for opportunities to frustrate their children in life. If done with purpose or for growth, the children can build psychological immunity and get through the difficult times of growing up. Stress would. Look it up. The other term I learned was making or finding bliss stations. It is a term coined by the great Joseph Campbell, author and researcher into the power of myth. Campbell said, "Follow your bliss. If you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there for all the while and waiting for you, and the life you ought to be living is the one you are living." He believed that when you follow your bliss, you will find doors opening for you in places you didn't think they were going to be, and those doors are open for you and no one else. I became intrigued by the art of storytelling in the early 1980s. After learning how and trying it out on several groups, telling stories and connecting them to concepts that help people see life in new ways became sheer bliss for me. I have been following my bliss ever since. There's no doubt that the doors that opened to me from following the bliss that I experience in being a storyteller and speaker brought me here to you today in this very podcast. And finally, the clearing. It's an idea I learned from listening to Melinda Gates in conversation with the writer Kelly Corrigan. She described the clearing as the space between leaving something behind and beginning something new. It's also a time to pause before going on. When we moved from Waverly, Iowa to our new home in Rochester, Minnesota, there was a pause when we were strangers in this new community, getting our bearings, filled with excitement, but needing to know who we would be in this new setting. I lean into these important phrases because they describe so much more than the mere words used in the catchphrase. Love squads, flipping the switch, stress wood, bliss stations, and the clearing. Hmm. I decided to write them down in my journal to see if there was something that stuck out, a pattern, a nudge for something deeper. Well, what I saw was this: love squads, times when in community you strive to share love, compassion, or empathy for the benefit of or help of others. Flip the switch, times when you are drawn to making a change for the good and you know it will be lasting because it touches you differently. Stress would. Like my dad would say, everything gets you ready for the next. The hard times that shake our world, challenge us, times of suffering like winds blowing on the trees, prepare us to be strong, courageous, brave, or confident in the face of difficulty. Bliss stations. The things you do that bring you life, even when life is hard. It is an oasis. These are things that you love to do that allow you to become something you didn't know you could be. And the clearing, the pause in our journey where we reflect and ready ourselves to move forward to the next stage of life. Phrases like these are representations or reminders of living fully, doing the work, milking the moment, looking beyond ourselves to see others, and living courageously in spite of what might be happening to us and around us. Join me in making a list of those phrases and what they mean. Then put a different one on your bathroom mirror each week. So this week, you choose the one nudging you and put it on your bathroom mirror. Join me next Monday for Live Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.